That's the first question was about. You're given two answers: x equals minus 2, x equals 5. You go in the reverse direction, bring x minus 2 over your side to x plus 2. You bring the 5 over your side to x minus 5. You then multiply x plus 2 by x minus 5. When you multiply it out, you end up with the initial quadratic. In this question here, the comma stands for the separation of two answers. So x equals a third and x equals minus 2 over 3. Conor Moore, what's the first step there, do you know?
You do bring the 3 over and bring the...
And what do we bring the 3 over?
3x equals 1.
And then the other one?
3x equals minus 2.
And then after that, Conor?
Then you bring the 1 over.
Huh? Do you have a question?
No.
No. So 3x minus 1 equals 0. And then bring the 2 over your side.
Oh. Yeah.
And what you get? Minus 2.
Plus 2.
3x plus 2 equals 0. Now at this stage, lads, what's your next call of action here? What you do next?
Brackets.
Put them into their brackets. And now what you do after that then?
Multiply out.
So 3x by 3x, what you get for that?
9x squared.
9x squared. 3x multiplied by 2.
6x.
6x.
Minus 3x.
And then this part here is minus 3x.
Minus 2.
Minus 2 equals 0. And then what are these two parts here?
3x.
Plus 3x minus 2 equals 0. Okay? Now lads, I consider that one, those two questions in particular, I consider that most of you should get them, okay? Those bit would be considered a relatively easy or lower middle level question. Okay? Can I move on or?
I can't concentrate with them at a time.
Sorry, we'll just keep going for a minute.
You did a question 5 one.
Yeah.
I got a drink.
No, we're doing this. Okay? I'll do them all then.
Yeah.
Okay? So. Okay guys. This question here. Solve for x and y. So what it says is solve each of the following for x and y. So which one is the linear equation? Top one's the linear, second one is the. Here's how you always do these. Get one letter on its own in the linear. Which letter would you like to get on its own? It doesn't matter. It can be x or y. Okay? That's quadratic. Q. You bring the y over to your side and what you get?
1 plus y.
Now that you get 1 plus y.
You sub the 1 plus y in for x.
You substitute the 1 plus y in for the x. If you manage to get that much done, you're already talking maybe 5 out of 15 for just getting that done successfully. Okay? So you're talking 33% for just doing that. Now once you're at this stage, guys, what you do next is you're going to square this out. What happens when you square it out? So 1 plus y, bracket 1 plus y. Same bracket twice. Don't forget the y squared. Bring the 25 over to your side. Now what happens? Multiply it out.
1 by y,
1 y, 1 y, y squared. Now guys, Sean, if I was to ask you what does a quadratic equation usually look like?
Linear.
No, but what letter comes first?
Is it not another y squared? No, the y squared goes first.
There is another y squared. 2y squared, okay?
3y squared.
No, sorry, it's y squared plus y squared?
Y cubed.
2y squared.
2y squared.
Y squared plus y squared is 2y squared. Y plus y?
2y.
2y. And 1 minus 25?
Minus 24.
Minus 24.
Equals 0.
Now you're at this stage now, guys, and you have two options. Yeah.
It's divisible by 2.
You can divide it by 2 if you want. So you see the way they're all divisible by 2? You can divide it by 2 and you'll get y squared plus 1y minus 12 equals 0. That's okay. The other way you could do it, and I don't think a lot of you would think to divide it, you could do the reference number. Anybody know the long reference number? Some of you tried it out in the test.
2 by 24.
What gives you?
48.
Minus 48. Very good. Minus 48 into two numbers.
24, 2.
Another two numbers. 24 and 2 won't work because they can't make 2.
12 and 4. 8.
8 and 6. Let's try.
Yeah.
Now lads,
So what type of question is this?
this is type 2.
The whole question?
The whole question is what's called a simultaneous equation with linear and quadratic. Okay? Lads, what do you break the middle number into? The 2y?
2y squared plus 8x plus 8y
Yeah.
minus 6y
Minus.
24 equals 0.
Okay guys, factorize. What do you take out of the first two?
2y
Into?
2y bracket y plus 4.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just have to move.
Oh.
Okay guys, 2y into y plus 4, correct? So, what we're looking at here. So, what we have is 2y, before I left off, I was just about to just make a bit of space further up, okay? So, what I was going to do here is, I have to do, swipe this. Now, yeah, Sean.
Just when we finish this, do you mind going back to the last question so I didn't finish taking it down?
You didn't finish taking it down? Any chance you can look at it over the weekend?
Okay.
Okay guys. Okay, sorry about that guys. So, it's 2y into
Plus 4.
y plus 4. We automatically know the second bracket is automatically the same. What number multiplies y plus 4 to give you minus 6y minus 24?
Minus 6.
Minus 6. And then finally we're going to have
2y minus 6.
2y minus 6.
Sir, if you see just below that, what you're doing now, is that y squared plus y squared minus 25?
Yes. Okay guys? Now, there's an answer here, right? What's the two answers?
2y
Minus 6
equals 0.
and
Y equals 0, 2y equals minus 4.
y equals minus 4.
2y equals 6, y equals 3.
2y equals 6, y equals 3. Now guys, there gets you 12 out of 15. Okay, where is the other 3 marks gone? You found out what y is, you have to find out what x is. So to find out what x is, we got to sub them in. So we're going to get x equals 1 plus y. We knew that from earlier, didn't we?
X is 1 plus 3 is actually 4. X equals.
So x is going to equal 1 plus 3. That means x is 4 when y is 3. And the other number for y is minus 4. So x equals 1 plus bracket minus 4. And that'll get you x equals minus 3. Alright guys, that is considered a medium to difficult question in the Leaving Cert. Lots of steps, long factorising at the end, if you consider it quite a difficult question. Confusion about the inequalities now, what the massive confusion about the inequalities is this. When you have two very similar looking questions, the two of these are so similar looking at the end. And what, yeah?
What's that sign equal again?
This means minus 3x is smaller than or equal to 12. 3x is smaller than or equal to 12. Okay? Now guys, what most people are falling back on is this, okay? Is everybody paying attention?
Yeah.
David?
Yeah.
Okay? What we have here is, guys, when you divide by minus 3, okay? What happens is, you got it, when you divide by any minus number, the sign has to reverse. It's learnt off. I gave you the reasons a couple of weeks back, alright? But at this stage, I just think you're better off just learning it because the reasons are gone at this stage. Just learn off by heart. When you divide by a negative number, you turn the sign around. Okay? Then, if you divide by a positive number, David, if you divide by a positive number, x is less than or equal to 12 divided by 3, which is less than or equal to 4. You can see that it turns around for this one because you're divided by a minus number. doesn't turn around by this one because you're dividing by a plus number. That's always the same. Never changes. So lads, we're going to multiply this out. X element R means that you're going to be shading in the lines. Okay? So this is the actual question. 4 by x, 4 by minus 2. 4x minus 8. Less than or equal to 10x minus 9. What? Okay, you don't multiply that because only the 5, if the 9 was contained within the bracket and there was no bracket there, then yes you would multiply by the 5, but the 5 is only being multiplied by what's inside the bracket.
So you only multiply things that are inside brackets?
What?
You only multiply things that are like inside brackets?
They're inside the bracket directly beside that number.
Yeah, so anything really, no matter what question you're given, if it's inside a bracket, gets multiplied?
Yeah, example would be this, David. If I had this, everything in the bracket gets multiplied, and the 9 doesn't. If I had this though, nothing gets multiplied this time because there's a plus in between the bracket and the 3. That stops all multiplications going. Okay, so lads, bring the 10x over to your side, and bring the 8 over this side, and we're going to get 4x minus 10x is greater than or equal to minus 5 minus 9 plus 8. We're going to get minus 6x greater than or equal to minus 6. Now guys, what is this case when we divide by the minus 6? What do I have to do, Sean? I'm going to divide by that minus 6.
X and then switch the sign is minus 6 divided by minus 6.
And then minus 6 divided by minus 6
Is 1.
less than or equal to 1. Now guys, you're talking about 10 out of 15 there. Where did we get the other 5 from?
You don't have a question.
So it's from the number line, and we have that's number 1, number 2, 0, minus 1, minus 2. Now first of all, is the 1 included?
Yeah.
It's element R, so that means you shade it in.
Shading the do the
Do I want it to be bigger or smaller than 1?
smaller.
Smaller. So we shade it all the way in, and then you draw a line to say it goes on forever.
X is less than.
So x is smaller than 1. If that had no equal sign, you'd use a hollow dot. It'd be just less than, and you'd use a hollow dot instead of a filled in dot. Okay? Now that's done. What we're looking at here is the second question, in which you have to split it in half. Now I told you guys how to split this question in half. You cover up the 11 at the start. You pretend that 11 doesn't exist. And if the 11 doesn't exist, what question are you left with?
Minus 4 is
Less than.
3x minus 1.
Okay? Now, after you do that, you pretend the 4 doesn't exist. And then you're left with the question
3x minus 1 is less than.
less than 11. Now lads, it's x element z. So x element z, guys, that means it's not a shaded in line.
Dots.
It's going to be dots, okay? So, Connor, how do we finish off this one now?
3x over.
And what does it turn into?
3x.
Dennis, Sean.
3x.
Minus 3x less than
Minus 1
and
plus 1.
plus 4 minus 3x less than or equal to
Minus. Plus.
3. You're dividing by,
Stick that on the 3. X minus.
X equals 1.
Change the sign.
you got to change the sign. And it's going to be 3 divided by minus 3
X equals 1. Minus 1.
greater than minus 1. Now you're on the other side. Yes, Sean?
Do you always have to change the sign on the last step?
No, only when you're dividing by a negative number. Okay, so you'll see on the last step this time we're not actually going to change the sign at all.
They're both negatives though, right?
It only matters what number comes in front of the x, Dennis.
Exactly.
That is the only number that matters. If that's negative, and it has to be multiplying by the x, okay?
Yeah.
Any number that's multiplying by the x that's negative, that you usually bring down on the last step. If it is negative, switch the sign.
And if it goes to
Leave it alone. So in this example, you divide by 3 and it's just less than 4. It's no bother. Now guys, we have an answer here. It says x has to be bigger than minus 1, but then again it also has to be smaller than 4. So what does that mean? So guys, how do I shade this in, or what do I do? Do I shade it in? First question you got to ask yourself, are you shading this in?
No.
You're not shading it because it's Z. What's your lowest value you're allowed to have, Sam?
Sorry?
What's the lowest value you're allowed to have?
-1.
Has to be bigger than -1. 0, 1, 2, 3. You do not use a hollow dot for 4. Why don't you use a hollow dot for 4? Because everything between 3 and 4 is not included because it's not or, it's Z. So that last part is wrong. You just don't shade it in at all. Yeah.
And then you got the arrow.
You don't need the arrow because it stops at 3 and ends at 1. While the last question had no stopping point. And that's why it keeps going. That's why we have the arrow. Yes?
How do you know whether to use plus or -3 when it's in a fraction?
Whatever number comes in front of the x always stays the same underneath the other side. It's only, Sean, you're thinking about this. -3 plus x less than 5, let's say. See the way this -3 is not being multiplied by the x?
Yeah.
Because it's not being multiplied by x, when it goes over the other side, it turns into plus mode.
Yeah.
Anything that's being multiplied, where there's no gap, automatically goes straight underneath, change the signs around.
Did you divide 3 by -3 then?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Whatever number comes in front of the x on the second last step.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you lose points if you don't do the number line?
Yes, because it's part of the question. Grab your solution on the number line.
How many marks are there?
5 out of 15.
You can't
All you have to do is just write it out.
Yeah, you get it right. Even if you have the answer wrong, if you write the correct number line for your answer, you pick up marks. Okay? So let's have a look at these ones now. I didn't give you all of these. Which ones did I give you? I think I gave you this one here and this one here.
You gave us
I gave you the ones with the fractions. Now, can I make the class remember what is the one thing you have to do before you can really make any inroads in this question?
Put them all into fractions.
You got to give them all the same fraction. Now, a lot of you went about doing that, but you made one big mistake. So I'm going to make the mistake now for everybody and see if everybody notices. Everybody goes, the fraction has to be 4s. So we're all going to put it over 4. But what's the problem you didn't fix?
You didn't put the words in the top.
You have to put 4 on the top. If you multiply any number by, if you divide any number by 4, if you multiply, you have to multiply it by 4 to balance it out, so it doesn't change the value.
So 2c is like simple there.
So it's going to be 4 multiplied by 2c.
It's 4a equals b minus 8.
Now 4's will cancel, and we get 4a equals b minus 8c. You look at the question, it wants c on its own. C is the letter you want on its own.
4a equals minus b.
We'll do it that way, because I'd like a plus 8c if possible. I'll always try and get my letter plus valued if I can. It makes everything easier.
That doesn't change signs at the end though.
You can, but it's much more mistake ridden, so I prefer all you guys just throw it always to the left, make sure it's positive. Yes?
So what was it again about why don't you put a 4 by the b?
You don't put a 4 by the b because it's already divided by 4 in the first place.
But so are they.
See the way they're in red? I filled them out afterwards.
Oh yeah.
See what I'm saying? Shh. Now guys, you alright? Now, 8c equals b minus 4a. Now, what do we do with the 8, Sean? The 8?
You bring it over, so c equals b minus 4a over a.
Okay, that's it done there. Now, this one here, once again, something very similar to this will be coming up next test. This is the hardest type of one because you want to get set on its own. And the problem with set being on its own is the letter's going to appear twice. Sam, can I do it? Write it out first. Good start off.
Stick the z onto the w and the x and multiply the x to the w.
Connor.
Z as well.
You put set on the bottom, set on the top, set on the bottom, set on the top.
Cancel out the z's and then you got.
Cancel out the z's.
And then you bring the zw over and y over to the z.
Okay, anything that has a z onto one side, anything that doesn't have a z to the other side. So you end up with zx minus zw equals y. How do you turn two z's into one?
Z squared.
You can do, I get what you're saying. You factorize it. If you take out z, what's that?
Sorry, x
Z y.
X minus w, because,
the x minus
1 second lads. Z multiplied by x, z x, z multiplied by minus w, minus zw. Nothing has changed.
And you put the x minus w under the y.
Okay, so David, this is getting multiplied with z, and when you bring it down underneath, you're going to get z equals y into x minus w. Okay, happy enough with that? Okay, guys. Now, last question here. All you guys had to do was put this into your calculator, and you get 16. Okay? Then, this question here will then become 2 to the power of 3x minus 5 equals 16. Now lads, this one was hard to take from a lot of you, if you don't mind me saying. It's very hard to take that. It always has to be the same big number. How do I turn 16 into 2 to the power of something?
2 to the power.
Yeah?
Put 2 and then multiply it.
Sam?
You multiply it as many times as it becomes 16.
Okay, you keep multiplying 2 by 2 until you get 16. And how many of them did it take? 1, 2, 3, 4.
2 to the power 4.
2 to the power of 4. Now lads, now and only now. And David, listen up to this. It's power equals power. 3x minus 5 equals 4. 3x equals 4 plus 5. 3x equals 9. X equals 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. We did this in class. We were all getting them out. We just forgot it coming to the tests. Okay? That's what happens. Okay? Rookie mistake. Last one. Last one I gave you. I didn't give you any other one other than this one here. David, can you concentrate and tell me how to get 81? How do you turn 81 into 3 to the power or something? You can just keep dividing by 3 if you want.
Yeah, you do 81 divided by 3.
And then 3 to 27?
9.
And then 9 divided by 3?
3.
And 3 divided by 3?
1.
You keep dividing until you get to number 1. Take 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 3. Or you can do the multiply way as well. You can just go into your calculator and you can just keep going. 3 multiplied by 3. Okay, multiply by another one. That's 3. Multiply by another one. That's 4. Okay? Now, once you're there, guys, what is the square root of 3? This is a learn off.
3.5, 3.5.
3 to the power of half.
And then 4 minus the half.
4 minus a half, because 4 minus a half is the rule for division. 3 to the power of 7 over 2. That's when you put 4 minus a half into the calculator. Now you have x minus 2 equals 7 over 2. All you have to do is bring the 2 over to your sides and then use your calculator to add them together and you get 11 all over 2. So that's the last question of the test?
Yeah.
Okay guys.
Instead of bringing the 2 over,